Alrighty, you guys. Well, welcome back to our fourth podcast. We are just moving right along with these. Before you put it in the chat or whatever, yes, I am wearing the same outfit as the last podcast. This is recorded at the exact same time as Nicholas Weiners was. But at this event, I wanted to make sure I got a hold of some elite people that I surround my personal self with, that I've learned and been mentored by also. And this podcast is going to be an amazing one. I love this guy. He is his story is just crazy to me. He's a little bit older than me, has seen a lot more than me, but his story is just incredible. So I'd love to introduce. He's sitting right here next to me right now. So without further ado, is Mark Rubin, the Iron Man that I can never catch. He outproduces me every single month, every single year. And I'm proud to say that because you're the reason that gives me a reason to keep on going. Right. Especially just like Matthew Weiner and that. You guys are the ones that keep me on my toes, and I always have a reason to keep on going. Because if I was at the top, I would get bored.
Wow. Well, thank you. Well, that's quite an introduction. It's been a lot of fun working with you over the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey, hasn't it? So,
It's been a great journey.
oh, it has. The immense growth has been crazy. So,
Man, I can't believe how far you've come in the last couple of years.
yeah, I look back to the days I got started. I'm like, man, I can't believe Nick Theodore even helped me. Yeah, back in those days, I'm like, I don't know what he saw in me at that moment in time to where he stepped in and was like, I'm gonna help this guy.
Right.
We're
Well,
gonna,
Nick's like that though, right? Nick
yeah,
Nick loves everybody.
yeah,
Any
insane generosity.
Anybody who works hard, Nick's behind.
Exactly. So, well, I'm just gonna get right into it, man. I mean, we're at this event. We just left it. Finally finished up. I think I'm finally done sweating for the day. So that I'm happy about that.
Right,
So,
right. That's nice.
but as the podcast name is, it's really zero from everything, right? So, I really like getting down deep into the nuggets of your journey of even before insurance, because I want people to understand is that we were normal people. We are normal people still. And anybody can do this. It's just whether or not you want to sacrifice the sacrifices that it takes to do this, right?
It doesn't really matter what you do. There's a sacrifice involved.
Exactly. Yeah. Whether you're working a 9 to 5 or you're working that midnight shift, there's going to be a sacrifice somewhere in there. And so let's start with, we were just talking a little bit beforehand, but you had said that you had ran a nonprofit. Kind of show me, how did you get into that first off? How long you were doing it for? And then some kind of key aspects of you were in it for so long, and why did you decide to start moving into different avenues?
Yeah, I got into big into the health and fitness world around 2003,
Okay.
and I had a couple of nonprofits that we ran. I ran a company a nonprofit called the 10 Hour Foundation that focused on health and wellness and centered around a goal of mine to go under 10 hours in an Ironman, which I
Hmm.
was able to do at Ironman New Zealand in 2009,
That's insane.
which was a lot of fun. But I think, I was really overweight at one point in my life, like morbidly obese, like right, scary obese,
You?
and
I gotta see photos of this.
oh, it's bad.
Thinking about this, I didn't even think about it. Been put two to two together. We do call you the Iron Man. I never put two and two together. That you were a fitness guy too. Maybe we need to talk because we've been getting a little bit hefty over here. So,
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the
so
same boat. But yeah, so anyway, I got into that, and the 10 Hours Foundation was about teaching health and wellness. And through that, I spoke at a lot of elementary schools and the like, and came up with creative ways to teach kids about eating right and being active. Um, and I loved it. That was some of the most fun I ever had. And then I also had a triathlon club that I started, and that was a lot of fun. We had a couple hundred people in it, and it's still going strong in Phoenix.
oh, really? You still have them going?
No, I'm not. Well, I'm not involved anymore,
Hmm.
right? Because I stopped racing several years ago. But the club is still going strong, and I'm as proud as can be of those guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, how long were you totally in that field of
About
business?
close to 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, a little bit less, but
Hmm.
somewhere right around there. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a hefty time to be into something.
I loved it. And I still love it. It's
Mhm.
just my body doesn't love it as much as I love it.
Hey man, shoot, I'm younger than you and my body hurts still, but that might be because all the extra weight, but who knows? So we're working on it. We're working on it.
I
So
got you. It's a process.
right. So 15 years. What year was that? Then when that ended?
It's 2003 through maybe 2016, 17,
Okay.
somewhere there.
Okay. So you kind of stopped right when the company was established then.
I did. I did.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So, after that though, it sounds like your body was just kind of not there. You couldn't do what you needed to do. So you started looking in different directions, I assume.
Yeah. I was trying to figure, what's the story? Hope is not an effective strategy, right?
Hmm.
And I was trying. I was spending a lot of time racing. I was doing 8, 10 Ironman events a year, and it was really my passion.
Hmm.
It was my passion for sure. And uh, one of my passions, my real passion, is watching my boys play sports.
Right.
Right. But I was spending an awful lot of time racing and doing those types of things, and I was making money in my foundations, but it was time to go back to work. Um, all but one of my kids were leaving for school, and it was time to start doing more for my family in terms of making money
Hmm.
than the things that I was doing.
Exactly. Exactly. And from my understanding, you're a very educated man, correct?
Well, I don't know about educated. There's some folks have given me some diplomas, but I'm not sure if that
Well, you
means
put in the hard
educated.
work to get it.
I have done the hard work. I
Hmm.
have done the hard work. I've been blessed to be able to earn a master's in business
Hmm.
and a law degree. And I'm eternally thankful for those professors that believed in me enough to help me get through those programs.
Right, right. It's crazy to me that you're in this business because I never thought of a day that I would be able to be comfortable speaking to a lawyer. So, I joke about it, but it's a serious thing, Lawyer. I always thought, and I still perceive lawyers to be at a higher level at myself, and I got to stop on that perception. But um, you know, it's on the same level as being a doctor in a sense.
Well,
Um,
Brett, you're a pretty sharp guy, my man.
yeah, but I don't got a degree, so I'm a
Hey,
dropout. So that
that's
works out though.
isn't
So,
Bill was it Bill Gates a dropout?
he was actually a lot of you have like Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. Everyone's kind of dropped out and things, so that's why I was okay with dropping out.
There you go.
But
Elon Musk dropped out as well.
I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe he has his. I think he has an engineering degree, but I think he did go to Harvard at one point. I believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Right,
I
right.
could be, but
Well, if Elon Musk jumped out, then I'm dropping out of everything. He's clearly got it figured out.
oh man, he's killing it. One day I'll be a 1% of what he does.
Oh, I'd give anything.
Right? Yeah.
Right. I'd give anything
So,
for that.
so were you doing out of curiosity? Were you doing the law and the nonprofit at the exact same time?
I was. I
Okay.
was. Yeah, I was practicing some law, mostly contract law,
Okay.
and then some law obviously related with the nonprofits.
Right. Okay. And so, so you got out of the nonprofits, and then did you go right into law and just did law full time? Then is that kind of the segue there,
Well, there
or
was a short period in which I was doing just law,
okay?
but I just wasn't happy.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, I just wasn't happy with what I was doing.
Right.
And I was trying to find something different. And I never thought at 50 years old I'd be looking through the want ads,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And there I was going through ZipRecruiter and Indeed, and it's humbling.
Hmm.
It's really humbling to see, how hard it is to make a living.
You ever have people not respond back to your
Oh,
jobs?
all the time,
Isn't that crazy?
all the time.
It's like, man, I'm applying. And I have a great degree. I have all this education. Nobody's responding back.
Right, right, for sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but I mean, it was a very interesting time for me. Um, and of course, when John Schwartz from Equus reached out and told me about this opportunity, I was absolutely floored.
Yeah.
I thought it was too good to be true.
A lot of people do think that,
Right?
which is it makes sense after you've been doing it for so long. I understand, and looks can be perceiving sometimes, but especially in certain businesses, it's just crazy that I couldn't believe it. It's funny that what we do is just a numbers game. And I love that because I have that engineering background, and numbers are my favorite thing to do and crunching them. But it was funny today. We booked as a team we booked 186 appointments today.
That's fantastic.
186 appointments today off of leads. That it just baffles me that you could have a system, you could have something that powerful. I think we had like 6 people that were brand new set up their first appointments.
Leads are the lifeblood of the industry, no doubt, right?
Yes.
And at Equus and specifically the Theodore Group, we have no shortage of leads.
No shortage. I get too many.
Right,
So,
right.
uh,
You don't have an excuse to say I don't have leads.
definitely not. Definitely not. Now, so were we your first stepping stone? Because it seems like there's a because you got started in what year here?
Uh, December of 19.
19. So what happened between 16 and 19?
I just did more and more law. Just
More and more
started,
or less. So it
yeah,
was law that was just consumed with law at
yeah,
that
I was
point.
doing that. And I was chasing my boys around a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I have one boy that plays baseball
Mhm.
in college, and then I've got another boy that throws a shot put in college. So between travel leagues and watching these guys and helping them achieve their goals, I put myself, it, at a distant second.
Mhm. Yeah, and if you guys are just now getting um, to know Mark, he is definitely a family man, 100%. Um, Gorgeous wife, Suzanne. Got to give her a nice shout out there. She is probably, I think she's your rock at least. The way it looks like she is,
Well,
anyways.
I'm just afraid of her eyesight. I don't know what she was thinking, but I'm just thankful that she was thinking whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. So that it's an amazing thing to see you blossom in the career and be able to bring her with too, because y'all be traveling and having fun. It seems like.
Well, she's a nurse
Hmm.
by trade, and when we started thinking about what it was we wanted to do for the, our next venture, right,
Right.
whatnot. Obviously, I couldn't become a nurse, so that wasn't an option,
Right.
right? And we looked at a number of different things to do together. And about 3 months after I started in this, Suzanne went and got herself licensed, and became, I guess, my business partner as well as my partner.
See,
So
I just learned that too. I didn't know she was licensed.
she is.
You see that a lot with spouses though, and I think it's a great aspect because then they get to learn what it's like that you're going through, right?
Sure.
Because otherwise, sometimes spouses, they don't understand it, which is fair, right? But be able to have that license, knowing the struggle to get the license. Not only that, and then did she run any appointments or anything with once she got it, or
She has run some appointments.
okay, so she's
Yeah.
definitely seen that side of aspects of
Hmm.
things. So,
She's still she writes a policy or so every month or two,
oh, awesome,
which is kind of fun for her.
yeah.
But the biggest thing she does is she does a lot of my scheduling, right?
And
Where
let me guys tell you when he says scheduling, we're gonna break it down here a little bit, but his schedule is intense.
well,
Just like those Ironmans, I'm sure his schedule's intense, guys.
the fact that she does my scheduling means that she knows exactly where I'm at 24/7.
Hey, hey, whatever works, right?
And with the what is it called? Find your family or whatnot.
Finding my iPhone.
Yeah, and find your,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
track your family. I mean, she's got me down to the, to the block. So it's there's no goofing around on company
Well,
time.
I know it's not because she doesn't trust you. It's definitely because she wants to make sure you're out making money.
100%.
She has some expensive taste, from what I hear.
But she can do her best at shopping for discount as well.
Hey,
She's talented at that.
yeah, definitely so. Me too. Listen, I go directly to the discount. I don't care how much money I have. I'm going to discounts.
I don't look good enough that I should ever wear anything expensive.
Right. Well, come on now. You
Nah,
look good, man.
I
Come on now.
appreciate that, but you know what I'm saying. I
Right.
mean, the clothes have to make the man, but the man's gotta,
Exactly.
live up
Exactly.
to the clothes.
Yeah, I just like dressing up. I don't know. I always had this, it's crazy to think, I always wanted to be either on Wall Street or a lawyer of some sort. Because I love wearing suits. I don't know why. It's just I love it. I love
Do you ever wear suits to your appointments?
no, no,
No.
I'm casual. I like being casual because every client I sit with is like family to me. So like I mean, it's kinda bad, but it's good. I have such rapport with my clients that I literally just relax when I'm in the house. I mean, if they have nice chairs, I am like, sit back, they get me a drink, I'm drinking that. We talk for like 15, 20 minutes before I even get into anything.
Right.
Because we don't really sell anything in my opinion. It is, and I talked about it in the last podcast too, it's literally relationships, right? Which I have gotten very fortunately, I've gotten really good at building. Um, but I spend more time just talking to them than I do even talking about why I'm there.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And that's why this business is what it is. It's so incredibly rewarding because you're not going in there and trying to sell them something. You're not doing the big takeaway. You're helping them solve a problem that they have,
Right.
right? And you make a friend in the process,
Yeah, yeah. And some of them become family.
for
And
sure.
so, before we get, move into, our clients and things like that, you spoke to John Swartz, got you started. What was that like? What was the first steps like, getting your license? Um, did you have instant success? Did you, what was that like?
Yeah. So I called John right around the holidays in 2019, and he told me about this opportunity. And again, I thought it was way too good to be true. So John said, "Hey, look, we're having our conference out in Orlando. Why don't you come out? check it out. If you still think it's too good to be true, if you think it's ridiculous, I'll pay for your trip. I was like, okay, I have nothing to lose here. I mean, this is a trip to Orlando, right?
That's a very generous offer there.
Right. And he obviously believed me, just like as he remains,
Mhm.
right? As he's continued to do. And I came out. I knew within minutes, within minutes of meeting Nick and meeting Barry Clarkson and Rob Jones, right, and Bill Martin, and just watching the professionalism involved in the Equus community, that this was for legit, and I had really fallen into something really, really, really cool.
Yeah, I remember, it took me, I think it was 6 months before I got to my first event. But that was there's wasn't any at that moment. I've never missed a single event. And as you guys have, if you've listened to all the before podcasts that we've talked about, it seems like everybody's story starts with going to an event. That's when things really start to blossom at that point.
I think it's just such an opportunity to grow,
Mhm.
right? It's such an opportunity to grow.
And what I really, really, really love about Equus is, when I say event, these aren't events. It is literally strictly training. Um, we
It's
do know
not
how
a
to do fun.
we do know how to do rah rah too, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
Tim Tebow came and spoke to us,
right.
and that was wow,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that was a crazy experience, to be in the even the presence of him in the same room.
it was amazing.
And so, but we do know how to do fun. I just want to make sure that disclaimer's out there. But the nice thing about when you come to our trainings, you're going to learn something, and that's why I keep on coming back every single one. I learn something new.
For sure. We did a 5-hour session today just on making phone calls and setting appointments, right?
Exactly,
And like you said, 180 something appointments were made.
186. Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of those folks are brand new.
Yeah, which is it is insane. So, but you getting started, you went to your first event. What was the first week like
Yeah, so
being in the field?
I bought some leads before I came because John said we're going to call some leads while we're at the event.
Mhm.
So I remember went up to my room at one of the established times, and I was making appointments. I'm like, this is kind of interesting. This is kind of fun. And I came home and I ran a couple of appointments, and I was a lot more nervous than I thought I'd be, even though I had, you know, maybe some more experience than a lot of people
Right.
had in the, in terms of business. I was 50 years old. I'm an attorney. I had run businesses. It still was it was a little nerve wracking, right? So I remember having to have John help me out in the first couple of appointments, in terms of some product choices and how to close. Um, and then after that, I just kind of took off on a run, and I went to Minnesota.
Wait, pause. Did you make a sale on the first person you sat with?
I did.
So you had
I did.
that
Well,
extra gratification right
I'm
away.
not sure if I made the sale or if John made the sale, though.
Okay, got
Because
it.
I remember putting my phone on speaker and setting it in the middle of the table, and I had John on the phone with me, and we were talking, and we ended up walking out of there with two apps, one on him and one on her.
Oh, that's beautiful right
And
there.
and
So
you know what? Those were my very first policies. They're still on my books, and I'm really proud of that.
yeah, that's amazing. You know, but some people don't get an instant start. So I'm always grateful for my first appointment. I helped the client also. Very fortunate for that. But sticking through that part, if you don't help the first few people, that's fine. It's gonna happen.
I've heard so many stories of people going 0 for 7, 0 for 8, 0 for 9 on their first appointments, and then
Do you wanna know what my record is?
what was it?
And this was about 2 years into the business. 0 for 30.
Whoa,
3 weeks I went and sat
whoa,
with over 30 clients in 3 weeks.
wow, that's a lot.
Mhm.
Wow, look at you though, man.
Hey, the reason that happened though was my ego. I thought I could do something different and make it better.
Whenever you get away from the program, we've got such a beautiful plug and play system here that Nick has created, right? And it seems that whenever we get away from it, you learn pretty quickly that that was a mistake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Instant feedback.
I call it getting hit on the head.
Yeah, it's like what's it called whack a mole,
Yeah,
whack a
whack-a-mole.
mole,
Yeah.
right?
Get back in there and just stay down
Right,
there.
just stay in your lane.
Yep.
That's all you have to do is stay in your lane, right?
Mhm. And so so you got started, you had, helped your first few clients. When did you have you had any adversity with the business? Have you thought about quitting? Or how soon after getting started did you think about quitting?
Gosh, well, I mean, I think it's one of those things that when I went into this, one of the things that John told me was he was worried about with me was that I had a lot of experience in running my own businesses and such, and that he was afraid that I would come in and try to tweak everything or change things just because that's what
Human nature.
people do, right?
Yeah.
Who are used to it. So, but I told him I was committed to completely coming in and doing it 100% the way he wanted, right? And the way that the Theodore system was set up, right? And I made a commitment to my wife at the same time. I said, look, there is no plan B here, right? This is going to work. We're going to make this work because it was at her. I didn't want to start over again,
Right.
right? I didn't want to start over again. So we made a commitment to each other that there was no plan B. So I mean, you have bad days, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, you have bad days in anything that you do, right? And so naturally, there were days that weren't as good as others. When you thought about, man, maybe I should think of something better to do. But those are fleeting, And the last thing I wanted to do was tell my wife I wanted to change careers again.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't be a fun conversation, that's for sure. So,
No, I mean, coming home and telling her I didn't want to practice law anymore and that I wanted to be an insurance salesman
right.
was already quite a shock. Especially as I said, "Hey, can you pass the chicken?"
Hey, and we have a funny joke. You go to the Halloween store, you never see an insurance man at there.
Nobody wants to dress like the insurance man.
Nope, definitely not, definitely not. So, but it it's a career that is very prosperous that people don't know about.
It's very rewarding.
Hmm.
It's a very rewarding business, right? And that's another thing people don't recognize. I think is the good that you really do for families and the like. I mean, I've processed I don't know 4 or 5 death claims now.
Yeah,
Over
it's that process is humbling.
it shows you really why you're doing this, right?
Yeah,
And it become when you have your first death claim, this business becomes really very real.
real. Yep.
That's when it's like, oh, this isn't a joke, right?
Mhm.
We're really doing something, and our work affects a lot of people.
Yeah, it does. You don't think about it during the time until, like you said, you do get that death claim. It's like when we write a policy, it isn't just for that one person. You're affecting a whole family.
Whole family for sure.
So when I look at a client, a client isn't a client; it's family. It's not a singular person. That's why when I'm sitting down with a client, I treat them like family because I want to know, like, when I don't say if the day comes, it's when the day comes. My mother passed away at 46, so I know that day comes quick and a lot quicker than a lot of people understand. And say so, being able to sit there in that position of being through that, you can understand the other circumstances that happen behind the scenes when somebody does pass away or gets sick or ill or whatever it may be.
Right.
So, but it sounds like you committed to it. You said a thing that we love saying is there's no plan B, right?
No plan B.
And everybody I've spoken to, and so far we've done on the podcast, is they all jump in head first. Um,
That's the only you can't put your foot in halfway in this business. You just jump in and go.
yeah, it's crazy to think about. It's a scary thing to do, but I did the same thing. I dove in for head first, and hit my head hard sometimes. But
Right. Right.
being able to have that commitment in your, not only when you make that commitment, you turn into a different person at that moment. I feel because um, you're committing to yourself finally.
100%.
And so that's an amazing part about it. So now I know you've had a crazy being here already. So kind of give me an idea what's your career looked like the first year, 2 years.
Yeah. My first year or so, I just produced
Hmm.
on my own pen, right? And I don't remember the exact numbers of where I was at in the company. I was probably 15th, 18th, something like that, the first year.
How many days a week were you working?
6 to 7 days a week.
So you're
Back then.
putting in maximum effort.
I was,
Yep.
yeah, and I think I did. We're not allowed to talk about money, are we?
We are.
Oh, we are.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Wow. Um, I think I made it close to $250,000 my first year.
$250,000 first year.
Yeah.
That's I didn't know that. That's impressive.
Yeah, and yeah, and that made me very.
That's my
happy.
goal. I'm on pace for that this year.
See that?
I'm excited for it.
I love it.
Life is getting real fun.
All right.
Yeah, I thought 100,000 was great. Oh man,
It's always nice when there's more money than less money.
I haven't. We were talking about before this. I, Nicholas Weiner. I told him that was my goal was spend $1,000 in a day.
Right.
He's like you spend money faster than I know anybody, and it's just I want to experience life. I mean, I grew up so poor. And I've been working with Nick with my financial blueprint and getting things saving and started a savings and stuff like that. But I had lived my life of in fear of, and I had been living that way ever since my mom passed away, because it was like, man, I that was my biggest struggle. It wasn't the loss of her, it was the holy cow, this life can be so short. If I keep on the same pace that she did, I only have 20 more years.
Right.
So am I gonna spend 20 years of not enjoying my life and not having fun and worrying about saving and all that kind of stuff? I wasn't before. Now I am, because I feel like there's gonna be longevity at this point, beyond that, because I'm able to now financially be able to afford special health clinics and things like that. I'm going into get blood work and fixing my health and getting it top tier shape and stuff. And
That's fantastic.
but that's what money can afford you,
It
right?
sure can.
I'm getting ready to purchase a cold plunge, get a infrared sauna, because I want to
Oh,
try to
those
increase.
are nice.
Oh, I ca
You put
listen.
it in the house?
Oh yeah, I'm moving in October into a big townhouse, so I'm
Oh,
gonna have room for whatever I want.
that's gonna be legit.
Yeah, yeah.
Infrared saunas are nice.
Oh, I can't wait. They look enjoyable, that's for sure.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
but anyways, back to what we were talking about. So, $250,000 your first full year. Obviously, we haven't having the thing. It's disclaimer. It isn't typical. But what I always say and what we say here in the company is you have a chance, right?
For sure, and then let me make sure, just to be clear, that was during the pandemic,
Right.
right? And people were buying insurance,
Yep.
right? And I don't remember the exact number, but a whole lot of that fell off the books as soon as people realized that not everybody was going to die. It's don't Let me be real careful saying that. A whole lot of people did die, and I feel horrible about that.
Right.
But there are a whole lot of people out there who thought everybody was going to die,
Hmm.
right? And everybody was buying insurance,
Yep.
right? And as soon as folks realized that there is going to be a limit to this thing and there's going to be an end to this thing, a lot of policies fell off.
Yep.
And then my numbers went back to looking, like a normal uh, agent with my experience. So
But that's a good that's good in business though, because you had that success right away. And what did it had amazing first year. But I probably would assume, and you may agree or may not agree, but that that diminishing part of that really was like, oh wow, there is more to this that I have to learn still and develop more in my skill.
well, absolutely, right? Because at that point it was just like fish get in the boat and the fish jumped in the boat,
They're
right?
just flocking
They're
in.
just jumping in. There's
Right.
more fish than boat,
Yep.
right? And yeah, but you pretty quickly realize this isn't the status quo, right? And you really need to learn how to be there for your client, how to I don't want to say manage, because it's not managing them, but it's how to take care of them, right? How to make them part of your family,
Hmm.
right? And be available for them and the like.
So first year did amazing. What was second year like?
Second year's a little bit short of that.
Hmm.
Second year's a little bit short of that, right? As we were coming out of the pandemic, I think I
Hmm.
was right around I don't know 190, 200,
Okay,
something
gotcha,
like that.
gotcha. I'm sorry, I forgot already, but you've been in the business for 4 years, right?
Correct.
So, kind of not plateaued, but second year, kind of stayed exactly where you were. Had some learning lessons to learn, but we're still making an incredible income.
Yeah, I mean, again, I went down, probably $50,000 because
I
people
mean,
just weren't buying like they
right.
were the year before, and it's taken me a couple of years to get back to that number. And this year the goal was 300, um, and that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot. Let's not make any mistake about it, right? I mean, that's what in the top 1% of all income, right? And
Yeah.
in this country, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And I don't haphazardly say, oh, I'm making three. I don't mean it like that
Yeah, no,
by
I
any
mean, it,
stretch.
it, it is, we sometimes forget being in the business what money is like to have, right? And when you get to that income tier, like I said, I'm on pace for $250,000, and it's an insane amount of money to me. And it's just like, I wish more people could experience it, I get. But that is why there's 1% people that are able to do it, because those 1% people, just like yourself, is willing to make those sacrifices, right?
For
You're
sure.
you're working 6 days a week. You're putting in the work. You're learning the business. You're craving it. You own it.
I wish it was 6 days a week. It's seven. I mean, it's almost always seven.
So you guys, this is why I can't keep up to him, because I have an amazing lifestyle that I've been struggling to overcome. We're working on it. We just increased my schedule to 4 days a week.
Nice.
So the issue with me is I've gotten very efficient, as Dick would say, and so the efficiency has created some laziness, is that what you want to call it. Um, but yeah, I could probably be making way more money.
Well, let me be real clear though. I've got 3 boys in college, right? And
Mhm. That's expensive.
I'm the one that I'm the one that they look to, right?
Hey,
So
that's that's an amazing thing to be able to be able to do for your kids, you know?
I'm super proud of them, right? I mean, depending on where they're at, they're all in different places in their life, but they're really showing great growth, and you know, I couldn't be happier with the path they're on.
Exactly, exactly. So quarter million, third year.
Mm, no, 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 no. I went back down about
Oh yeah,
200 the
200,000.
second
So
year. Yeah,
yeah,
it's probably
200,000.
about 210, two
Okay.
fifteen,
Mhm.
right? And then last year was like 230, 225,
Okay.
230.
So you're on that incline then again.
Yeah, yeah, yes, but this time now it's more about me than it is about fish getting the boat, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So
So you've honed it on your craft, and that's what I've noticed also. First year 96,000, second year 136, this year a quarter million. First 2 years was learning, right? First year had no clue what I was doing. I was just doing. I kind of like you. I When I came into the business, I had epically failed in a previous insurance company that went out when COVID hit. They were deemed non-essential, so I was left with holding the bag, as they say,
right, right.
with no money. Pretty much went homeless in a sense. I had to move in with my grandparents and things like that. Thank God for them, obviously. Um, but first year was crazy. I was making more money than I've ever seen before. Took it for granted. Got with Nick, got an Uncle Nick talk.
Nice.
If you don't know what those are, they're great. They're loving talks. We'll just leave it at that.
Everybody should be fortunate enough to have one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I need them
It
almost every month.
well, it's very much get real.
Yeah,
It's there's no playing around, right? It's
yeah.
this is the way it is.
If you guys don't have a mentor, and he doesn't need to be like a Nick that's worth, fortunately he's worth over $100 million and being able to be so fortunate in his life.
The fact that he's
Um,
so giving,
it's
right?
so giving at
Of
that.
his time,
Yeah.
of his time.
But even if you can find somebody that's at a level that you want to be at, whether that's you want to be a doctor, find a doctor to mentor you, find a, that's one thing I was always taught when I was a kid is surround yourself with, show me your 5 friends and I'll show you your future.
Right.
Right. So that we don't care if you get into insurance, if you're listening to this, that's not the point of this. This is just us having a conversation about the reality of what you could do and what you should be surrounding yourself with. So
Sometimes you have to distance yourself from people who don't want you to achieve your goals.
yeah.
And I know that sounds crazy, but I remember years ago we were at a wedding in New York City, right? And one of my buddies stepped into one of those tarot card reading shops,
Mhm.
and her message to him was, "Your friends secretly want you to fail." And looking back on that, that's very similar to what we're talking about now, right? It's the crab in the bucket, right?
Yep.
One crab gets out, but if you put multiple crabs in there, they'll pull each other down repeatedly. So sometimes you have to distance yourself in order to improve yourself.
Yeah, and that was the biggest struggle with me getting into the business is I had a lot of those people around me that I didn't realize I had, right? So I still love all these individuals, but I have a simple thing, my phone is always open for anybody, whether I know you barely or I know you like family, right? Um, if you don't call though, it's not my job to reach out, right? My job is I am busy. You guys know what I'm doing. You see me on social media. I am a busy individual. I don't ever. It's all out of love. But if you're willing to call me, I'm more than happy to. I'll make the time to talk to you,
Right,
right?
right.
And all my close friends know that, obviously, and they do call and things of that nature. But it was a big learning lesson for me. My biggest thing was family, right? And probably biggest struggle was family too. It's kind of a big thing in culture. I think in the United States is people have big families. They go to events, they do all those type of things, and being able to sacrifice for a short period of time, because my goal is to be out of this in 5 years and be able to be retired and be able to be financially retired and be able to do what Nick does. Work an hour a day. Um,
I really hope that happens for you, brother.
oh, it will happen.
I know. I know.
It's not.
It's
It's
not an
not
if.
if. It's
It's
a
a
when.
win. It's a win.
Exactly. And that's the way I look at things. And so, um, it, it's just it's progression. And the way I look at it is it's 5 years, guys. Like 5 years. Like
Sacrifice 5 years and enjoy it for the rest.
yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? There's people that you know. great. You get to hang out with your family every single day, but now you're sick. You're gonna wake up 65 years old.
Hey, easy now.
And
Easy,
hey,
easy, easy,
okay, I forgot, I forgot, I
easy,
forgot. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. But
easy.
you're gonna be retired in like 2 years, so calm down over there. So you won't be working at 65. I promise you that. But it's just crazy to me that people spend 65 years of hard work and dedication and things like that. And we also need those type of people. But if you do want more from life and you do want to do it, it's possible. Like you have a chance. It's just you got to bet on yourself, just like you did.
Right.
And so you're in your 4th year now, I assume, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So
So
almost completing it. Almost what, 3.5 years now.
3.5 years. Yeah, that's a good amount of time. I'm coming up on my 3rd year this year, and that's I don't it's crazy. Like I know where my time went. I have an I have an appointment book. It's crazy. Some people say, I don't know where time went. It's like I have it all notated down. I got my assistant that takes care of stuff too. I got binders that have everything in it. So I know where my time went. It's just crazy to think that we've been doing it for this long.
It's flown by, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's hard to believe we've known each other, 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how quickly this time flies.
Yeah, and it's just amazing now, once you've been in the business too, you like I'm trying to think of the kid's name I saw today, but shoot, I'm not coming Michael Krim. He
Sure.
he comes to mind. I said it kind of on stage. I was trying to be as respectful as possible. But I remember him coming into the business, and I know he had been previously successful and stuff like that. But you could tell at that event he had been beaten down. You could just tell the way his body was, the way he looked. And those are the people I seek for when we're at events and things. Is because I want to try to do whatever I can to help these individuals. And so today and this weekend, he came in, and this is my second time seeing him. First time, I took him out. We went, invited him to places where we went. We went out go karting and things like that. Try to help lift those spirits. You're like, hey man, this is what life can look like. Just you got to do this right. From then it looks like I mean, he committed.
He lives in Maricopa County, where I live,
Hmm.
and we we've had some of the same clients,
Hmm.
and he's a great dude.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing to see like what something like this or whatever you're getting into once you find your passion and your love. I mean, the man was looked amazing today.
He loves the business.
Yeah, you could tell he loved it. He breathed it. It was like air to him.
Oh, for sure.
So
He's another one. I mean, no plan B. Here we go.
yeah, no, I can't wait. I was walking out. Our schedule was so jam packed with getting podcasts ripped out this week that I didn't have time for a lot of people that want to be on. So I told him like, next time I see you, we're gonna get one made because I just want to pick his brain. He's killing it, keeping me on my toes too. It's just like that's what I love about this business.
He's a sharp dude.
Very sharp dude. So 4th year in the business. You said you're on pace to do roughly 300,000, right?
Yeah, a little bit above that right now,
Okay, sounds
but
good. Any struggles so far this year?
always struggles.
Give me an example of a couple that you've
Well,
been
I
dealing
mean,
with.
I've had some extended streaks of no sales. I've
Hmm.
had my extended streaks of going to doors and not having anybody answer them. Right? We've all had those types of things, right? Um, and those are the hard part. But the hardest part about that is keeping your mind clear,
Hmm.
right? And maintaining a positive outlook. It's tough when I say on a given day, drive a couple hundred miles,
Yep.
and every door you knocked on, nobody was at, right?
Yep. Been there.
And right, and you leave first thing in the morning, you don't get home till dark, and you've spent however much money you spent on the day between food and gas, and I drive a big truck, and
Yep.
not great for the carbon footprint, or my bill, right? But
Right.
at the end of the day, you're just looking, man, I just spent a couple $100 in gas, spent a couple $100 in food, I made nothing,
Yep.
right? Those are the hard days, right? And you've been gone all day,
Hmm.
right? And you got to get up in a few hours and do it all over again, right? And somehow or another you got to wash that from your memory,
Hmm.
right? And be ready to come at it with a fresh, clean attitude the next morning, because the people you're seeing, it's not their fault,
Right.
and you need to give them your best game.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I speak on this all the time with people. I try to be the most positive person I know. I still have my bad days, and it all happens. But having those resources and putting those things into place, I think of first off, I believe in positive thoughts, obviously. So, like on my phone, I have millionaire written on it because that's one of my dreams and goals to get. So, I make sure I want to see that. So, just like surrounding yourself with people you want to be like, also ingesting content that is motivating and keeping your head in the right mental headspace. So, Between that and then I have a motivational app that gives me motivation every day. I post it to my team almost every single day. And then just like I said, surrounding yourself with like Nick Theodore, and then obviously I'm very faithful in my faith and stuff like that, and I keep him really close too. And yeah, just keep on loving people.
That's the answer right there.
Yeah, just gotta keep on loving on people, and you'll be blessed in more ways than you'll ever imagine. So,
I like that.
well, do you have anything else you think you want to go over?
Man, I love talking to you.
I know. I know we could probably go for a long time. So I do this thing that I don't tell anybody until they're on, and I hope it's gonna catch on here at soon a point once I post all these. But so what we're gonna do is it's the middle of the year, right? So we have 2 quarters left in the year. What I would like to do is in 6 months, so January, we're gonna cut some more podcasts of people that were on today. But I want you to give me 3 goals for the next 6 months so we can look back
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
go from there. Now, when you think of these goals, I don't necessarily need them to be involved in the business, right?
Yeah.
They can be personal goals, they can be whatever you want it to be. Just 3 things that you would personally want to look back, even
Yeah.
to look back on.
I mean, one of the biggest things, I want to be a better husband. You know, at times at least for me, it's really hard for me to be everywhere at once.
Hmm.
I'm an all in kind of guy, right? Whether it's all in on my boys or all in here or whatever it is. And it's kind of, we've had 20 something years with the kids now. And
Right.
it seems like it's time for my wife to get a lot more attention.
Hmm.
Right. So it's, we've done a couple of trips this year. Uh, but that's really my number one goal, is to be able to be a better husband to her.
I love
Right.
that.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to doing that. Another goal is to continue to grow my team, from a professional standpoint.
Where would you like to be at?
I'd like to have, 15 writers
Okay.
consistently by then.
I love that.
Right now I have 8 to 10
Yeah.
each month, right? But I'd like to get that to 15,
Right.
over the next 6 months.
That's definitely a attainable goal there.
I think so, right?
Mhm.
I think so.
No, the third one's usually hardest. What's a third goal?
The third goal, wow. The third goal is would be is a money goal.
Mhm.
Because it's not money in and of itself. It's money in terms of what you can do with the money, right?
Exactly.
And I would like to. I miss the traveling that I did years ago. I miss. I've been fortunate to go to Australia. I've been in New Zealand. I've been,
Oh wow.
Germany. I've been at some really fun places, right? And I miss not having the cash flow to be able to do that, right?
Mhm.
And hopefully by the end of this year, the cash flow will be sufficient that I can take care of my family in the manner in which they need to be taken care of, and have the money to be able to enjoy myself as well a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot just in this last hour or so. It's not the money that we're looking for. It's the opportunities to be able to have the lifestyle that we deserve in this life.
100%.
Yes.
You
So
only get to do this one time.
one time, man, one time. So it's nuts to think about. It stresses me out sometimes. It's like man, when I'm laying down or I'm sitting on the beach drinking a cocktail, I'm like, man, probably should be still working. But
I think I saw you drink a few of those.
yeah, we can handle a few drinks. Like I said, guys, we do have fun.
Yeah,
So
we went to Margaritaville together a couple
we
months
did.
ago.
That's what. Well, I love trips just like yourself. So that was one free one too. So
Right. Nick does those the best.
oh yeah,
A
yeah.
Nick Theodore trip. You do your job, Nick. Nick definitely rewards you.
Handsomely.
And we went to what, 4 days? 4 days?
4 days in
4 days.
beautiful Margaritaville. Had a pretty much a villa suite
Right.
there, and everything was free.
Had some beautiful dinners.
Beautiful dinners, beautiful people.
Watched the rocket launch,
We did watch the rocket launch,
which
I
was
forgot about
really
that.
cool. It's about 100 miles away and still could see it. Pretty awesome.
Welcome to Florida, best place on earth to live.
Right? It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yes.
I got my head burned.
Yeah, that thing is pretty shiny, isn't it?
It is. It is. It doesn't have any protection up there.
Hey, well, I'll make sure to remind you of sunscreen next time, okay?
I appreciate that.
So, well, hey, Mark, I really, really appreciate you coming on. You did not have to do this. As you said, we could talk forever. I love talking with you. And I'm excited to see your journey and grow together with you too. So,
I appreciate that, man. I wish you nothing but the best.
all right. Well, thank you, man. And thank you guys for listening, watching, however you're doing it. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard.